Interesting. And so when we talk about the church in general, Mr. Silas, we're not just talking about the pastors. You're saying the digital space right now needs influencers who have a kingdom mindset. And that is what you're saying we are not going back to.
Yes.
Not just because I'm sure kwamba alikuwa tayari kurusha mawe.
Yes.
Because I say let's get to invite our
Yes.
preachers. Let's get to invite our different clergymen, but also you as one who just belongs to a particular fellowship. Let's also just have this conversation and see what exactly is happening. Because to be honest, it's truly very confusing, very destabilizing. Let me just bring another point right here, Mr. Silas. For the longest while, in fact, now just scripturally speaking, it's the flock that follows the shepherd. Right? It's the flock that follows the shepherd. And it's the shepherd that takes care of the flock. The church without walls has become a very common phenomenon in this pandemic season. Right? And the church without walls simply meaning that, you know what? You now have a chance to access more than your usual congregation. But we have, I mean, for example, this one of us just got to comment down there, Nakasema. I'm grateful. During this time, nimeweza kusikiza watu wengi. In fact, word on the streets, our dear pastors, word on the streets is that people are actually saying that, you know, I finally got a chance to travel. And I tasted kwingine, places singeweza kwenda. Because, for example, I'm in the worship team. So every Sunday was needed to be in my place. Just paleko pulpit in the same church, but now I've gotten a chance to and end up kwingine. How do we keep that balance? How do we keep that balance between staying loyal to the local church and also managing the many options that we now have?
Well, that comes in two aspects. I think, and we have had to reflect on that question, especially for me as a digital media person. How do I advise the churches? And there are two aspects. First is from the pastor's corner. There is the pastor's corner of the pastor being there. I think now we need to remove those barriers which allows us to access the pastor.
Okay.
Because, and this is the sad part of it. I know I said something that social media is an equal opportunity. One of the sad things about social media is that it has given room for false teachers.
Is that so?
Yes. Okay. I get to, on every day, I get to travel through many social media live streams. And I get to see this. Now, the reason I'm saying that is because I was explaining this aspect of a pastor's corner. Because the pastor has no option from being far. You can't be far again. You can't keep a distance from your flock. You need to keep a relationship with your flock. Now, there's the other aspect, because many of us used to attend church and we see the pastor from Uko. Now, people have asked themselves during this pandemic, who exactly is my pastor?
That's true. Very important question.
Who exactly is my pastor? Because there is someone who pastors you every day in the evening, taking you to Bible expositions through every evening. And even you tithe there. You even do your giving there. Now, the question is, who is your pastor? When you inbox this person is available to counsel you. This person is available to counsel you. But your own pastor, you can't access him. That's the first thing. So the challenge first is thrown to the pastors, that it's time for us to remove we call it the leadership cap, closing the leadership cap, and get to know each of our members. Like, I know you guys, and I know, you know, one of the things about media is you guys even know who follows you.
Thoroughly. And we even call out their names by the regions where they stay.
Where they stay.
James Asiramo Jonsaga.
Exactly. you see, now we need to close in, the pastors need to close in that leadership gap.
Yes.
Because that's a very big challenge. Now, the second challenge is on the members. Okay. For two things.
Maybe before we get to the members, Pastor, is it possible to do that now?
It's very possible.
If we didn't hack it when it was in the physical space, are we able to do it now, and how?
Yeah, because I know you guys are on the media world and you understand the importance of data. you know exactly what data is.
Yes.
I'm sure you guys do your analytics, and you know who is following us, which age group is this, who is this. Now, for me, the pastors, it's time to go back and collect data for your churches. Get to have a number of every member. We get back to texting, mass texting. You don't have to pastor by making a call every day. If you're able to do mass texts, broadcast WhatsApp messages,
Yes.
every twice in a week as a pastor, there's a connection you create with those members.
Wow.
Now, which also offers the challenge of not only the pastor, because some churches are huge, like 2,000.
Yes.
It means empowering the leaders so that you pastor the leaders and the leaders pastor the members. So that we have this way which is like a pyramid scheme, but all of us know each other. We are many, but in a way, there's an interconnection. Of all, I know all the leaders. Even if there are 50 of them, I pastor them, I talk to them almost twice every week, and they feel like, and for them, they transmit the same information I give down there. So it's about getting back to data, and mass texting is not an option for the churches. I know we talk about it, something far from, but the US, it's always something. If you are an urbanized church with all your congregants are working class and everything, you are able to do email and do devotions for them, even twice a week or thrice a week for them through their emails, because they could be traveling out of the country. But I think WhatsApp is such an important tool. Now, having a WhatsApp church number, which can also broadcast these messages, is another powerful tool. So creating relationship, removing that barrier, and something I'll come is, I'm sure we'll talk about it, is that we need to move from creating content to building community. I don't want to go there right now. We'll come there. But now let me come into the congregant also.
Okay. So you've talked about the pastor.
I've talked about the pastor, the leadership, the church leadership.
Okay.
It's time to break those barriers. It's time to move in. Get data. Get every number you need to have in that church. Get to know the age of that person. In other words, life has changed.
It has.
You know, they say, what you cannot quantify, you cannot qualify. If you cannot quantify how many members you have in that church, how many 50 and above you have in that church, it may be hard for you to qualify who are your members.
So you're saying that set of statistics is very important.
Very important. In fact, I would encourage, if there's any pastor listening to me, go back, have a directory of all your members in the church, not in your phone number. I know some pastors carry it in their phone number, with themselves, but have it in the church data. Analyze that data. This is a married couples. Can we have a message for them? So that also in terms of reaching out to them, we are more informed. You guys know your age group.
You're able to meet the specific
needs. Because if you don't meet the needs of the people, online is available. I say this, when people are in distress, the first place they go is Google or YouTube.
That's right.
Whether we are sick or not, whether I'm stressed up, the first place I'll reach out, take my phone, signs of being stressed. I need a counselor.
Yes.
What about now we change this conversation and we say, I'm available. As a pastor, I'm available. Talk to all the young, have the phone numbers of all the young people. Tell them, hey, this is what I'll be doing every devotion. Now, I've been doing mass texting as a pastor. My personal story as a pastor. I have been doing mass texting since 2015.
Wow.
Normal text.
6 years now.
6 years now. I have around database of around 100 plus. Every 2 weeks, I send a scripture to all those people, even before the pandemic. And the way they know, some of them at some point, even like when there was a time I was able to create some good technology, and I was able now to personalize the text. And people really used to appreciate.
Okay.
So exactly. So I was about to go into the members also.
Yes.
Now, in terms of the members, there are two things.
Again, just before you go to the members
Yes.
again, it still concerns me. It still concerns me. And I just want to engage our
Online.
audience, Kidogo. Please get to tell us, just in a very honest way. Roland Kirubi, see you saying a very timely conversation. God bless you, sir. Elizabeth Kimani saying, watching. Indeed, it's time preachers know their members. All right, we hear you, Elizabeth. Joy Mark saying, very present too. Great teaching. Thank you. Bella Waithera, you're saying, where is the comment? Wow, I'm enjoying the show. Okay, so get to tell us. Since the pandemic struck, okay, and these are questions just out there to our audience or listeners today, get to tell us, do you feel like there's been a rift between you and your pastors? To be honest, some of our people have never seen them, even a much physically. You've probably never seen them, right? You've probably also not gotten a single text from your own assembly, right? How has your relationship been working out? I know we come from different just fellowships, but get to tell us, let us just know the state of things, okay? Are you in a space whereby there's been a deliberate reaching out, okay, by your church, by our pastors, or whoever your leader would be, okay? Because some of them are really big. It might not be the exact main pastor, but they're probably just leaders in the different groupings. Get to tell us, has there been a deliberate reaching out? Ama umekuwa Mansol. So ulishahamia Texas, wewe you appear for your Sunday services very religiously in Bahamas.
Yes.
Ukipata mtu ako service na ni saa 8 usiku.
Saa 8 usiku na kuna wale wa saa 10, Sunday saa 10. Wanajijua. Kuna kalenda ya Sunday saa 10. Uko nao pale YouTube na Facebook. Tunajuana. Tunajuana. We are a big community in Kenya.
Wow, I think I not mention names, but now let's go to the congregation. What about them?
Wow, two things about members, and one is awareness, being aware of yourself, where you are in your Christian walk with God, and the teachings you are receiving.
Okay.
We can't be church hopping online. Now church hopping is normal. I remember there was a Sunday I attended 7 churches and I didn't feel any condemnation in my heart.
One Sunday.
But should you anyway?
Yeah?
Should you feel any condemnation?
Now, you see now, there's no, in the past, if I did that on a Sunday, what did you think about me?
I mean, you want to listen to different preaching.
Normally on a physical service, would you go for 7?
Well, no.
Okay. And you see now that things have changed.
Yes.
I attended 7. I started from I started from Australia, finished in US.
Wow.
And hapa katikati hapa ya Nairobi County, Kericho kidogo, nikienda Nakuru, and on my way south, and one in Uganda, and finally one in Europe, and then one in
na zingine hata unaingianga nusu.
No, singine ni kupitia tu. Unaangalia 10, unasikia message 10 minutes na unaenda na safari yako ukienda.
Yes.
But the thing is this, you must be aware about the teachings you are receiving as a person. Each one of us know exactly where we are in our walk with God. Being aware helps you to know which teachings do I receive. Because when you don't know yourself where you are in your walk with God as a believer, the biggest challenge is you will absorb everything. And even things which are not building you, you will still be willing to receive. So, but when you know exactly where in my walk with God, there are things I cannot allow to come to me, I'm able to move on and know which teachings I receive online. Because we're not talking about, and this is another aspect, we need to be very careful. We're not talking about Sunday services only. We're talking about the ministry which is happening online, Monday to Monday. And
Not just Sunday ministry.
Not Sunday only ministry.
Okay.
And I want to tell you this, and I think I already put that on my social media platform. A time will come when church will not be Sunday only. It will be from Monday to Monday, 24/7 online. Keep that. You can mark that.
The
Keep
tweeting
that.
prophet has
Yes.
said it.
Now, the thing is this. There's a lot happening. So sometimes we think like, my pastor only preaches to me on Sunday. On Monday, all you guys, I'm sure you guys have preachers coming in.
Yes.
Which content do I consume? So for the member, I want to ask you first, be aware of the content. Now, the second thing is this, relationship. As a congregant, be intentional about building your relationship with a pastor. Be intentional about building a relationship with a pastor. Intentionality.
How do we do that?
Thing is this, if you know this is your local church pastor,
Okay.
be very clear to call them and check up on them.
Oh. There's also that part?
There's also that part. It's
Okay.
now we are in a place, a sphere where the pastor also are going through their own life.
That's right.
They're going through phases. COVID has hit, man. It has not spared anyone. And so even the pastors themselves are going through their own season. And so sometimes you are expecting from your pastor, but also the pastor is more lost because it is supposed to be the leader, but he doesn't know where to begin.
Oh.
And when Corona came the first time, it was worse because many pastors didn't know where to begin. And there are pastors who went off for more than 5 months.
They'd not made the digital migration.
They couldn't make because either there were no resources, they didn't have the capital, they didn't have the human resource, there was nothing. So what do? You went silent. Churches were closed in this city. Churches were closed. You know, some people think it's a joke when we say churches were closed. Take a walk and listen to stories around behind the scenes. Pastors have closed churches and they have left this city. And so where is your pastor also? So that intentionality of building a relationship with your pastor, like whether it's an online pastor, let them know you. Let them know you. Don't be just in a world of your own. Even if the pastor is a pastor you knew as a youth pastor, reach out to them and build a relationship with that youth pastor. I think for now there's something I'm seeing, that the space of positions and titles are being challenged a bit. Yes. And I know we are in a generation where positions are being challenged. And so for me, I'm very keen on how can we build relationships? Because the only thing which can sustain us through this season, the post-pandemic as a church, is relationships.
Okay.
Even though we are doing digital, we'll need to remember, we need relationships.
We need relationships.
We need relationships. And so the member you need to, as a congregant, can you find a way of connecting with your pastor? Even a pastor who prays with you once a week, that's so powerful. I have a member who calls me every week to pray with her. That's all we need to do. Pray with,
Wow.
She says, I don't want you to preach for me. I already have 1,000 preachings. Just for you, pray with me. I didn't start it, she started it.
Pastor Silas, you just asked a question there that kabisa yetoki kwa kichwa.
Yes.
Pastor Silas has asked a very interesting question. Ukipita tu, and I want to just throw it and allow it just resound in your heart here again. Where is your pastor? Where is your pastor? Wacha fununu unasikianga. Wacha rumors unasikia ati alihama, ati where is your pastor? Have you made any deliberate attempt
To connect with the pastor.
to connect? You probably don't even have their number. That's fine. You have Facebook. Have you tried to DM them? Have you tried to check them up on Instagram? Stuff that will also be coming too, because truth be told, some of them were not there previously.
Man, no one is IG. No one is there. The sad. I manage a pastor's platform.
Okay.
The inbox. Sometimes on Monday morning, I have to respond not less than 50 SMSs.
Oh.
We have to. It's a combined responsibility of counseling, prayers, and everything.
Yes.
He's not a big man of God in this city, but because his online presence is active and engaging and all this,
Yes.
can tell you, sometimes we just want to imagine, where are the pastors of these people?
Because some of them he actually knows these were not my flock to begin with.
Many of them. And I can tell you a shock about this man of God. I picked up his online platform in June last year, he had only 1,800 followers. As you're speaking, he has 11,700 followers. Because of engaging online and being there. Pastoral ministry is about being there. It's called small things, but makes a huge difference. Yes. So where is your pastor? I think I love that question. Where is your
pastor?
Man, I think before we end this course, we need to pray for pastors.
Definitely.
I feel like we need to pray because pastors are really, it's not easy.
Definitely, because now just before we just move from where is your pastor, right? And if you're just joining us, welcome yet again. We're just hitting hard and just calling it black and white as it is. What are the digital realities that now face the church as the world just adapts to this tech wave that is not just trendy, but it's also just very definitive. It's defining everything on its way, right? And the church has just been caught up in that path. Right.
Allow me to go back to something. I think I mentioned, it was a by the way, and I realized, so I've just thought of it. I say, wow.
Okay.
Data.
What about it?
Allow me to go back and inform each one of us. All of us are part of this digital world.
Yes.
And one thing which is coming out is all of us are, there's a way tech companies are able to map us. It's able to map who is Cargo, able to map who is Frida because of the data they have about us.
That's right.
They know Silas owns an Oppo phone. They know this guy his age is between this and this, and so they know the kind of products to deliver to me.
To us, yes.
They know exactly what to deliver to me. You guys, the two of you seated here, you know your audience, and you know the kind of content to deliver to them. Now, the church. We throw a message with no specific audience. So it's time also, and even I know this as if a medium person is there, if a pastor is there, or if you're a church media person, it's time you sit down with your pastor and identify who are our main audience. Because sometimes we throw the message which reaches out to the age of, we want to reach a person at the age of 24, but we are throwing in, and the way we are putting it up is for everyone between the age of 18 and 65 plus. So that message gets lost.
Because it doesn't have a specificity.
Okay. So I think that's a challenge we need to, and I think the reason I say that is that the reason also the churches need to embrace the place of data, collecting and doing what you call social media listening, which I guess you guys are aware about that. Social media listening and analyzing where is our main audience in this conversation. Who are our main audience in this conversation?
Yes. Okay.
Yes. Who is our main audience?
Very important.
Very important.
Otherwise, we could just be busy and not reaching to anyone.
We say there can be a lot of activity. Activity is not productivity. You can be so busy online.
Oh my God.
But there is nothing productive.
And truth be told, we can get to that point. You know why? Because you're trying to catch up.
Yes.
As a preacher man, as a leader of a particular flock, you're thinking, Ata wale walianza.
Yes.
Ata wale walianza. So wewe pia?
Activity is not productivity.
And you're saying there's also the angle of, let me tell you, my people, why we're having this conversation is because we got to, first of all, accept the reality on the ground so that we can know how to just adapt, even if it means seeking for help.
Yes.
Seeking for professional help. Because, to be honest, some churches were not trained. They were not prepared in that particular sense. Media team meant just someone anaweza simama pale na camera, asonge tu pasa kisonga. So right now they're just totally clueless. Truth be told.
But there's another aspect also.
Okay.
There's too much creation of content. Why lie?
There's now an wait a minute.
Man, have you ever been online on Sunday? You know, on Sunday sometimes I just don't want to be online. I tell my wife, you know what? Let me on Twitter. But also Twitter these days now there are many hashtags there on on Sunday.
Mm.
But on because now as a pastor, most of my friends are born again.
Yes.
So everyone is sharing about their church. So Sunday between 10 and 1 p.m., you go to your news feed and you're thinking, this is just boring. You know, it's just not what I expected.
Yes.
So you better find another space to engage in. But there's too much creation of content also. I'm just thinking, imagine if churches started, some services happened on Saturday evening. And I'm throwing this to any pastor there. Imagine you did your services on Saturday.
That's a free piece of advice too.
Yeah, just think about it. Imagine you did your service on Sunday, 7 a.m.
Interesting. And yet most of them are normally pre-recorded.
Don't go that direction.
Okay. Nimeban.
But I agree.
Okay, as I was saying,
yeah.
the reason I actually mentioned that is
Yes.
that it can get to air in any other time other than the conventional, traditional, standard time.
But do you know what? Okay. And I can tell you for a fact, Kenyans are not online on weekend.
Kusherehe.
Kenyans are not online on weekend.
Uh-huh.
Imagine you did a service on Friday, 3 p.m. Kenyans are bored at workplace. Yeah, Wi-Fi, office. You know, when you're doing, I always say, when you're doing digital ministry, it's not only about the tech. It's about analyzing and understanding who these people are. Okay. Where are these people at? Like if I know, if I want to do a very good service, I would rather do it on between Monday and Friday, 8 p.m.
In the evening.
Yes. Okay. Because that's when people are using the data we have. Because I'm privileged to have a few data for me to analyze. I can tell that's the time guys are online. But that's the time pastors are not there. They're waiting for Sunday 10, eh? Father Lord. Yeah.
Oh my. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
And thank you so much to everybody who's just joining in this conversation. We're still waiting for your questions. Our time is almost just running up, and kindly just get to send in some of those questions that you have with regard to just the different digital realities. And I'm just throwing them just thick and hard as they come, and I'm sending them just directly to Dr. Silas Ngetich. And one of them is this. Still talking about our clergymen, okay, our shepherds, our pastors, right? Eddie Isedi, Pisa Mwitu, I see you saying tuned in. Nice conversation. I'm waiting for your questions, sir, and also let us get to know where you tuned in from as well. Okay, get to ask us a particular question, then also let us know where you tuned in from. And thank you to everybody who's just part of our conversation right here. Paulo Zakaria, Sawat, Sempija Isima, Dinto BMW, Andrew Willie, every last one of you, thank you so much. And I'm still giving you a chance to kindly get to share the link. Get to share the link. It's part of how you're causing these gospel to just go to the ends of the world. You'd be surprised. Every time we go live right here, I get people, especially from the eastern countries, Christians who are rather in Islamic states, they fellowship to them is a strange thing. Nyinyi sasa ndo mmeingia ile position wao wanakuanga.
Yes.
So when they come and meet us, they're really excited.
Yeah.
Okay? So yes, just get to share it on your side and let somebody be part of a conversation. Share with love and ask your questions. Let me ask you. Another question on the streets is this. Part of what happened, part of the reality that also just hit home, and especially with the church now not being in the in-person gathering, now for the second time, our pastors, the clergymen, most of them also got to suffer. Because truth be told, that was also the source of income. And there's been this question, and I'll just throw it out just as raw as it comes. They've been asking, is it time that pastors should look for a side hustle?
Wow.
Talk to us.
Hey, that's a very difficult question. Eh? And I would say it's time.
It's time.
It's time.
How do they do that without feeling like they're going back fishing?
Paul was a tent maker. He went making tents, and he still be able to preach, okay, as an apostle. So, it's only that, and one thing and this is something which I've had some reflective times during this season, is that there were some cultures which we had developed which didn't have any solid foundation. We have adopted some cultures, and over time we got into some cultures, but this season has challenged those concepts, and now we are coming to a place of thinking and seriously reflecting on them and saying, what if we did this? If a pastor is able to have a side hustle, not really a side hustle, but something to engage him and a means of living, and be able to pastor the body of Christ. I think for me it's not a big issue for me.
Okay.
It's something which needs to happen. Some pastors were already doing that, which was very impressive, and they were not able to struggle. So I would really ask that if you are a pastor and you have a gifting in a certain thing, please go ahead and start doing that. Are you a farmer? Please do, because also it offers an opportunity for a pastor to lead by example. And also it offers an opportunity for you as a pastor to be a blessing to the kingdom of God without being a burden.
Just as Paul would put it out.
Yes. That I come to you, whether you give me or not, I'm at peace,
I learn to walk with my own hands.
I learn to walk with my own hands. So I think for me also it avoids, especially if you run your own church, I think for me it's possible. Whether you're also under employment, a pastor can go out there again and just do something. As long as remember that this is the principal calling you have of pastoral ministry.
Okay.
Yes.
So we're saying it is okay for them to if you're a minister of the word, then you're probably just pastoring a particular church. You're saying that it is okay for them to get just another means, as long as it does not distract them
from the primary calling.
Yes. Interesting.
Yeah.
Interesting.
We must remain to I think remaining to the primary calling is very important, even you as a person, because the others may help give you skills and build you, but this primary calling is what you came to do in this world. Even me, I do other things, but my primary calling is pastoral ministry. Yes. That I know is my primary calling. And now with also digital media. Yes.
All right. Yeah. I see Shaheen Langat right here, just one of our Shaheen, glad to see you, sir. Salutation. Anauliza, Chamge, Pastor ngetich. Ameona countryman hapo.
My bad.
And then he asks a question, just something that I was just going to get to. And he asks, so now, we're talking so much about statistics. We're talking so much about data. So then how do you measure online productivity? How do you measure online productivity now that we don't have crusades? How do you tell how many came and gave their lives to Christ? How do you tell that this means is actually worth it? Truth be told, churches would grow and would grow from the very pedestal of we have this number of people. Right now, it is not that accurate to be able to even measure how many members you have. Because, as I said, unaanzia hapa Nairobi, by the time ushatupa Bahamas, ukarudi kila pale. Okay, so it's not very clear who exactly is your flock. How then do you measure the online productivity? Is it by likes? Is it the followership? Is it the comments I get?
No, and wow, that's a huge field, and allow me to take a few minutes to expound on that.
Okay.
These two things first. There is the qualitative. There is the quality, and there's the quality where you are the quality broadcast. There is the feedback which will come in. Then there is the quantifiable productivity. So there is the quality. In terms of the quality, you will hear people talk about it. Sometimes, that podcast was good. You can't really measure what happened. It's just the broadcast was good, the message was good, and all of us are used to that.
Yes.
After every sermon on Sunday, when guys are out there in the parking lot or walking out, you get, that sermon was powerful. It's something you cannot quantify, you cannot measure how powerful that is. So that's something, at the end of your sermon, you will see people on the comment section saying, hey, that was powerful, man of God. Those are just normal. There's no, you cannot quantify.
Yeah.
But now, hey, there's something good about digital media. And I always say this, is that you can be able to quantify.
You can be able
to quantify what you're doing.
Okay.
Yes.
Why do you hear some wordplay there? You can be able to quantify
what you're doing online, and you can be able to exactly know what's going on.
All right.
Now, and I want us to understand that social media and digital media is a journey you must take, and there's what you call conversion. And before you come to the conversion is the end goal, and all the churches conversion can be giving.
Yes.
And no, for us to convert, we can convert what we call call to action. Call to action can be giving.
Okay.
You can be asking people to get born again. You can be asking people to send their prayer request. You can be asking people to WhatsApp a number for inquiry. You can be, there are many things you can ask people to do during a broadcast, whether it's just going live or that. Now, out of that, you can be able to determine, out of the call to action, you can be able to determine how many people called that number. So if you told people, kindly call this number and for help or for counseling, and you find 5 people have called, that's the productivity you can measure.
Okay.
I'll come to further details.
All right.
Now, if you told people giving can go into this number, and you find you have some money which have come in to that number, that's a productivity. So we should always have a call to action when you're doing our live broadcast. Even telling people to send their prayer items, that's a call to action.
Okay.
Telling people we have something, a project we are doing, and kindly let's support, that's a call to action. And how you're able to convert people from just viewers to people to respond to that call to action is so powerful, because it means that they are in tune with you.